The bustling terminal of the international airport hummed with the vibrant energy of thousands of travelers rushing to their destinations. Sunlight streamed through the massive glass windows, casting long, golden reflections across the polished floors. Among the sea of moving faces, two young women in crisp, elegant flight attendant uniforms stood out, their bright smiles cutting through the fatigue of long-haul travel. Rachel, her dark hair perfectly styled despite the grueling hours in the air, waved enthusiastically as she spotted her dearest friend and colleague. "Rachel, hello," Susan called out, her eyes lighting up with genuine affection. "Susan, hi," Rachel replied, pulling her friend into a warm embrace. "Did you fall in a hole or something? Your flight has been down for over 20 minutes. Susan let out a melodic laugh, adjusting the strap of her shoulder bag. "Oh, I had some wonderful little kids to deliver. We picked them up in Manila. I have been playing mother hen to 3 little milk guzzlers for the last 17 hours. Rachel's eyes softened with a tender gleam. She knew how much her friend adored children. "And loving every single minute of it, I bet. You know me and kids." "Always," Susan smiled. Then, noticing Rachel's attire, she tilted her head in mild confusion. "How come you are in uniform? I thought you had 3 more days off to rest." "Oh, that is exactly why I was hoping to catch you before I took off," Rachel said, her voice bubbling with barely contained excitement. "I wanted to tell you that the apartment is all yours for the rest of the week. I finally got a flight to the Orient. Hong Kong." Susan gasped, her hands flying to her cheeks in pure delight. "Oh, that is absolutely terrific. Is it a permanent route?" No, only a standby," Rachel clarified, though her smile never wavered. "Monica Finley got sick, so I am taking her place. I am wishing her a speedy recovery, of course." "Well, it is certainly nothing to cry in your beer about," Susan said encouragingly, linking her arm through Rachel's. "At the very least, it will give you a leg up on getting a permanent flight assignment to the Orient. You have worked so hard for this." "I certainly hope so," Rachel sighed happily. Then she glanced around the busy terminal, her eyes scanning the crowds. Susan followed her gaze. "Where is Mark? Did he not take the flight back with you? Does Jane go anywhere without her Tarzan?" Rachel chuckled, a soft blush coloring her cheeks. "No, he is still stuck in the customs line. He has to get all his baggage cleared through. It is quite a process." "Are you not going to wait for Mark to drive you home?"
Susan asked, surprised.
"No way," Rachel said with a playful wink. "Our relationship will be a lot better if I spend my time soaking in a lovely, warm bubble bath while he spends his time standing in that endless customs line." Susan laughed, giving Rachel a final, affectionate squeeze. "Have a wonderful flight, Susan. I will see you on Sunday." The day transitioned into a quiet, peaceful evening. Rachel had returned to the cozy apartment she shared with Mark, looking forward to a relaxing dinner. The soft glow of the lamps created a warm, inviting atmosphere. The telephone rang, breaking the gentle silence. "Mark," Rachel answered, expecting her boyfriend. A confused voice replied on the other end, and Rachel smiled apologetically. "No, I am sorry, you have got the wrong number." She placed the receiver down just as the front door swung open. Mark stepped inside, dropping his heavy travel bags onto the floor with an exhausted sigh. "Hey, Rachel," Mark said, running a hand through his hair. "I thought you would be ready by now." "Did you get through customs all right?" she asked, walking over to greet him. "Uh-huh," he mumbled, avoiding her direct gaze. "And I am so glad I did not wait for you," Rachel teased gently, wrapping her arms around his waist. "Because it took you over an hour." Mark pulled away slightly, his demeanor uncharacteristically tense. "Rachel, What is it, baby?" she asked, her brow furrowing with sudden concern. She could read every line of his face, and right now, those lines spoke of a deep, unsettling anxiety. "Nothing," Mark deflected quickly, forcing a tight smile. "I will be ready in a minute. Listen, before we have dinner, I thought we would go over to Santa Monica and take a look at that beautiful house I was telling you about. It has this massive backyard. Plenty of room for a lot of little tiny kids, little grunions running all over the grass." Rachel's heart fluttered at the mention of their future, but as she stepped back, her foot nudged one of Mark's open travel bags. A small, familiar object tumbled out onto the rug. It was her makeup kit. But the lining was torn, and several small, tightly sealed plastic packets had spilled onto the floor. The silence in the room grew heavy, suffocating. The warm, romantic atmosphere vanished in an instant, replaced by a chilling realization. Rachel knelt slowly, picking up one of the packets. The white powder inside caught the lamplight. "Looks like you had a little accident," Rachel whispered, her voice trembling not with fear, but with a profound, heartbreaking disappointment. She looked up at Mark, her bright eyes suddenly brimming with unshed tears. "All those business trips you took to Manila? Always making sure you got on my flight. I thought it was because you loved me." Mark took a step forward, his hands raised defensively. "Hey, I do love you, baby. I really do." "Do not baby me, Mark," Rachel said, her voice growing firmer, anchored by her unyielding sense of right and wrong. "Not anymore. It is heroin, is it not?" "Hey, where did you get that from?" Mark stammered, attempting a weak bluff. "Do not jive me, Mark." Rachel stood up, dropping the packet onto the table as if it burned her skin. "You have been using me. You have been using me to run heroin through customs inside my makeup kit, have you not?" "Honest, baby, I do not know what you are talking about," Mark pleaded, his voice cracking. Before Rachel could respond, the shadows of the hallway shifted, and another man stepped into the living room. It was Ken, Mark's business partner. His presence was cold, calculating, and entirely unwelcome. "Cool it, man," Ken said smoothly, addressing Mark. "There is no sense in having a debate over this." He turned his chilling gaze toward Rachel. "Sweetheart, you just discovered a gold mine of ours, so you just might as well calm down and enjoy the benefits of it." Rachel stood tall, refusing to be intimidated. Her moral compass was a beacon that guided her every action, and she would not compromise it now. "It figures. I knew you were bad news the day Mark first brought you around. You have a terrible attitude. Get out of here. Both of you, get out of my home." "Rachel, listen to me," Ken urged, taking a slow step toward her. "There is a lot of money in this. I mean serious money. Now, you listen. You make a couple more runs to Manila for me, and you could come out of this with, let us say, a nice round $25,000. Now, just think about that." Rachel turned her desperate, pleading eyes to the man she thought she loved. "Mark, do you not know what you are doing? Do you not know the destruction this poison causes? It destroys families, it ruins lives." Mark looked away, unable to meet her gaze. "All right," Ken sighed dramatically, throwing his hands up. "I told you that we would offer her a piece of the pie if she found out. Did I not say that? All right, she found out and the money did not work." "Rachel, please listen." Mark finally spoke, his voice laced with panic. "Come in with us, okay? Please." "Mark, you used me," Rachel said, her voice breaking with sorrow, but her resolve remaining entirely unbroken. "And now you want me to join you in destroying other people? Go peddle your poison someplace else. I am going to the authorities." Ken's eyes narrowed into dangerous slits. He lunged forward, grabbing Rachel by the arm. "Will you hold her?" he barked at Mark. Wait, Ken, listen," Mark cried out, stepping between them. "Let us just give her a chance to think it over. She will come around. You will see, man." "Are you kidding me?" Ken sneered, his grip tightening. "This woman, she knows our entire business. If we let her live, we are dead. Do you know that? We are finished." "No, man, no," Mark pleaded, desperation making him frantic. "She's not going to say anything. She will not say a word." "Will you relax?" Ken said, his voice dropping to a terrifyingly calm whisper as he forced Rachel toward the door. "Just relax. It is going to be a nice, easy trip. In fact, you might even enjoy it." Rachel fought back, her spirit bright and defiant to the very end, refusing to surrender to the darkness they represented. But she was outnumbered. Days later, the sky above the city was a soft, morning gray. In a small, modest home filled with photographs of a loving family, an older man sat heavily in an armchair. Mr. Mort Jones, affectionately known to his friends as Pop, stared blankly at the wall. The lines on his face seemed deeper than they had a week ago. His son, Bobby, paced the living room floor. He was a young man full of fire, but today, that fire was fueled by a deep, confusing anger. "Now look at you, Pop," Bobby said, his voice echoing with frustration. "Rachel has not even been gone a week, and here you are, busting your back for the man again, getting ready to go to work." Mort sighed, a sound carrying the weight of a broken heart. "Why can you not understand, son? I cannot just sit around this house doing absolutely nothing. The quiet is too loud." A gentle knock at the door interrupted their heavy conversation. Bobby marched over and pulled it open, his expression defensive. Standing on the porch was a tall, distinguished older man with a warm, empathetic smile and intelligent, observant eyes. "Mr. Jones," the man said softly. "Mark," Mort said, looking past the visitor to see Mark Siegert standing nervously on the porch. "I did not expect to see you back here for a few days." Mark stepped inside, his eyes downcast. "Well, you remember my son, Bobby." "Sure, hello, Bobby," Mark mumbled. We all know how much your sister meant to you. I am so sorry." Bobby's fists clenched at his sides.
Sorry?
After a tragedy, sorry is just an empty word. It does not bring anybody back. "Bobby," Mort scolded gently, placing a calming hand on his son's shoulder. He looked apologetically at the older gentleman who had arrived with Mark. "It has hit the boy incredibly hard. Please excuse him." "It will pass," the older gentleman said, his voice soothing and rich with understanding. "Anger never hides pain for very long. It is just a shield." "Well, I want to talk with you about some business, Mr. Jones," Mort said, guiding the gentleman into the living room. "Some business?" the gentleman asked mildly. "Yes," Mort nodded firmly. "I would like to hire you to find out how my daughter, Rachel, really died. Please come on in." The man was Barnaby Jones, a private investigator known not just for his brilliant mind, but for his profound humanity. He did not chase criminals out of a love for danger. He sought truth out of a deep respect for justice and human dignity. The next morning, the sun poured into Barnaby's comfortable office. His daughter-in-law and trusted secretary, Betty, was arranging files on her desk. She was a bright, capable woman who kept the office and Barnaby running smoothly. Barnaby walked in, carrying a glass of fresh milk. "Good morning, Betty." "Good morning, Barnaby," she smiled warmly. "I am sorry I did not get a chance at the cemetery to thank you and Mr. Mort Jones for coming. And for all those beautiful flowers. She was a truly lovely girl." "She was a good girl, too, Betty," Barnaby said, taking a sip of his milk, his eyes turning serious. "And all those terrible things the newspaper said about her were nothing but lies. They only printed what the official autopsy report stated," Betty pointed out gently, handing him a folder. "Yes," Barnaby sighed. "An overdose of heroin. It makes absolutely no sense. Now they even have her own little brother believing that his wonderful sister turned into a careless addict. You saw the way Bobby was acting." Betty nodded sympathetically. "Rachel tried so hard to teach him what was right. She tried to keep him off the dangerous streets. Now he feels like he has nothing left to believe in anymore." "We know exactly how you feel, Mort," Barnaby whispered to himself, recalling the grieving father. He looked at Betty with renewed determination. "I promised him I would help prove that all those things they said about her were lies." "Okay, Barnaby," Betty said, pulling out a fresh notepad. "Where do we start?" Mort mentioned he had a little money set aside, whatever it costs. "Do not worry about the money," Barnaby said softly, staring out the window. "For a girl as wonderful as Rachel, the flowers we gave were simply not enough. We owe her the truth." Down by the sparkling harbor, the wealthy elite of the city enjoyed the afternoon breeze. On a luxurious yacht, Ken was throwing a lavish party. Music played, and laughter echoed across the water. Ken stood by the railing, swirling a drink, looking entirely too pleased with himself. Mark arrived, looking pale and nervous. He bumped into a waiter, nearly knocking over a tray of drinks. "Careful, sweetheart," Ken laughed, patting the waiter on the back. He turned to Mark with a wide grin. "Do not spill any of that. You will get a hefty fine for polluting the beautiful harbor." "It is about time you got here," Mark muttered, pulling Ken aside. "You know, you picked one heck of a terrible time to have a massive party." "Tension is a killer, old buddy," Ken smiled, smoothly unbothered. "A absolute killer. Just relax. It has been over a week. We cannot grieve over Rachel forever. Now can we?"
"We,"
Mark hissed, his guilt eating him alive. "You know, you're just a little bit too cool for me, brother." "One of us has to be," Ken replied, his smile hardening. "Oh, hey, look, Mark. Cheer up.
"Just dig this, man."
I just completed that last massive shipment to the dealers for $250 million green dollars. That is top dollar, my friend."
"Top dollar."
Mark shook his head, miserable. "Yeah, you just stick with me," Ken boasted, gesturing to the luxurious boat. "And we will be playing hide-and-go-seek with beautiful princesses inside of a month. You might even buy this very tub and sail all over the world. I mean, that is top dollar." "Listen to me, Ken," Mark pleaded, grabbing his partner's arm. "Why do we not get out right now? I mean, we have got enough money. Let us just stop." "Enough." Ken laughed loudly. "We have 2 more entire kilos waiting for us back in Manila. And those buyers are drooling, baby. Absolutely drooling. Kenny, what good are 2 kilos going to do us if we do not have anybody to run them through customs?" Mark argued, his voice trembling. "I mean, Rachel is gone, remember?" "Hey, no sweat at all," Ken said smoothly, adjusting his